Okay, a fun little topic here at Blue Glow Electronics today. Why vacuum tube audio gear is timeless. Well, let's first take a look. The definition of timeless: not affected by the passage of time or change in fashion. And a little human biology 101 here. If you'll remember, our ears, sound waves travel into them. They get funneled down into the inner ear canal. Ultimately here they vibrate the eardrum in an analog fashion, and which actually moves a couple little bones inside of your ear, which ultimately end up kind of moving fluid around into this little tunnel here, which finally kind of stimulates the auditory nerve and sends a signal to your brain what you're hearing. So think about this. Sound travels in analog, sound goes up through the auditory ear canal, sounds vibrate the eardrum all in an analog fashion. So this is where things get really subjective, but I'm going to impose my personal opinion on you here. First off, I think if your audio source is analog, it's the best possible scenario. If it's feeding into an amplifier that's analog based, I think that's the best possible scenario. If it's feeding from that into a device that reproduces the music, which is analog, by the way, all speakers are analog, ultimately it makes it to your ear in an analog fashion. The bottom line, our ears are analog devices. All right, let's take a stroll down memory lane, or maybe we'll call this a evolution of digital technology. Remember the old big bag phone? God, you couldn't even hardly carry the thing. A few years later, along came the track phone. It was really cool, but you know what? They went by the wayside. Then you had the Palm. Well, haven't seen one of those in years. Then we evolved. Wow, the great BlackBerry. I love those things. Hey, I think they're pretty much out of business these days. And if you had one of these devices, I'm not even sure it would still work. The same with our iPhones we're using today. What do they hold for tomorrow? They probably won't be around 5 years from now. It'll be some new device. This stuff just evolves, and the old technology, the cell towers that supported this are gone. You can't even use one of those devices if you had it. Same with this one. This one used, remember way back, it used a technology called Edge, basically 2G. And we've removed 2G from all the cell towers at this point. These don't work. It won't be long. None of these devices will work. How about our trusty old TRS-80 Model 4 PC? Oh, wait. It's dead. Can't even buy floppy disk anymore. Who would want a big 16K of RAM in that thing? Oh, maybe you upgraded to the Apple II. It's kind of dead at this point. You can't even buy a VGA monitor for one of these anymore. Commodore 64, the most popular computer ever sold on this planet. I doubt anyone uses one on a regular basis today. PCAT, great computer. Too slow for anything today. Your iPhone has probably 1 million times the power of any of these devices. Then you got a great big clunky laptop. Well, it's gone too. You're using a nice sexy iPad today. Well, it's cool, but will it be around in 5 years? My point is, all these things come and go because they're digital devices, and the life cycle of digital is so short, it becomes obsolete before you even know it. How about the media we listen to our music on? Well, the phonograph. Edison created this thing way back in the day, 1877. Really cool, but they've gone by the wayside. Oh yeah, vinyl record got created in 1948. We'll come back to that. Cassette tape, 1963. Might be a little bit of a nostalgic resurgence out there these days, but for the most part, they're dead. 8-track. Pretty much gone by the wayside. And you know what? These were analog devices. So was the phonograph. You know why they're dead? The format just wasn't practical. Then we switch over to a digital media. Dead. DVD. Dead. MP3. What'll happen tomorrow? Guarantee you 15 years from now, MP3, what the heck was that? I don't even remember. But guess what's sticking around? Vinyl records. These things have transcended time. Why? Because they're an analog device, in my opinion, in a format that's easily used, reproduced, and stored. How about your favorite CD player up here? I had a Denon CD player just like this. Loved it. It's been in storage for 15 years. Haven't seen it in a while. Hey, maybe you jumped up and bought the great big 300 carousel CD changer. You load that thing up, get a remote control, listen to CDs all night long. Haven't seen one of those used in a while. What about your early iPod? Well, wow, they were cool back in the day, but man, the batteries in them, they're dead now. Hard to get changed. Whoa, hardly holds any music at all. Oh, wait a minute, can't get on the internet with it either. What are you going to do while you're listening to your music? Hey, wow, modern new streaming media server, cool stuff. Wonder if it'll be around in 5 or 10 years. Let's roll back the clock yet again. How about 1963? Allied Radio Catalog. Fisher 500C, $359, 65 watt stereo multiplex FM receiver, built-in amplifier and preamp, and phono stage, by the way. How about a Dynaco ST70 70 watt basic amplifier kit, $99. Or, whoa, Macintosh MC240 for $289. Take a guess what the best deal on this page was. Okay, roll the clock forward to today. I just searched eBay completed auctions, not up there for auction, completed auctions. Fisher 500C, $750. There were a dozen auctions like this. Dynaco ST70 in nice shape, $770. Lots of auctions like that. This one did bring a premium, had some nice original Dynaco mullered tubes in it. Macintosh MC240 in excellent condition, $3,150. Why are these things bringing this kind of value? Why are these things highly sought after? Why is eBay full of this stuff being bought and sold? We're going to find out why. First and foremost, the circuitry inside of these things, it is analog from one end to the other, and it is timeless. In my opinion, as an electrical engineer and someone that has worked on vintage audio gear for 30 years plus at this point in time, I don't think it can be improved upon. You can build a digital amplifier, you can build all sorts of new technology. I think it's all going to come back to how well can you reproduce an analog signal, and the best way to do that, in my opinion, is with an analog device. So I think the circuitry is timeless. Okay. I think the components are timeless. Yeah, I get it. There's a couple devices here. This one, and these two right here. By the way, this is a Macintosh MC225 amplifier. There's one more up here, six components in this thing that are called electrolytic capacitors, and they do have a limited lifetime, somewhere around the 40 to 60 or 70 year time frame. They used a material inside of them, dielectric, that basically dries up over time and you need to replace them. So what? When's the last time you had a car you didn't have to change the tires on, the brakes, the belts, gas, oil, etc.? So yeah, there's a couple components here, but for the most part, you got these dog bone coupling capacitors in this thing. You've got diodes that'll last forever. The tube sockets will last forever. The metal chassis will last forever. The transformers on this thing will last forever. For the most part, this thing is just timeless. The components are timeless. And finally, tubes are timeless. I've got thousands and thousands of these things around here. Very rarely do I find one that's either leaky or gassy, and if I do, it probably has more to do with the way someone inserted the tube into a socket or removed it, or maybe it got dropped, but the pins actually get bent and crack the glass sometimes. But short of that, this glass is sealed around these pins, and it's a vacuum been pulled on it on the inside. These things are going to last way longer than my lifetime, probably yours, probably our grandchildren. These things are timeless. They're going to be around forever. All right, if you're a computer geek, you've probably heard of Moore's Law. It's basically a theory this guy came up with that said since 1965 till today, the number of transistors on a processor per given square inch has basically doubled every year since 1965. What does that mean for audio? Well, let me tell you what it means. It basically means that new devices, if you're dealing with digital equipment, are coming out every other day. Think about the cool thing you wanted for Christmas 2 years ago. Heck, you couldn't even hardly sell it on eBay these days. It's old and obsolete. That's what happens with this kind of gear. So I worry about, Digital audio gear, CD player. Who uses that anymore? Things are just evolving so fast. But guess what? There's something that has stood the test of time. That's right. Your tube audio gear has stood the test of time. It's analog. It's beautiful. If you're an investor and you wanted to sink lots of money in this stuff, I think it'll still continue to pay out for years to come. If you wanted to buy one and you were worried about losing your investment, don't. If you want to buy one of these to pass down to your kids, down to your grandchildren, do it. These things are going to be around. Our ears are not going to change. They're not going to become digital devices. Thus, why would the stuff we want to reproduce our music with, why would we want it to change? I promise you this stuff will be around hundreds of years. Probably 1,000 years from now, this thing will be worth, the price of a small planet. Who knows? Hope you learned something. I had a lot of fun with this video. I promise you, I love tube gear, but I just wanted to tell you why I think this stuff is timeless and why it will stand the test of time.